What's happening, Bulls? Happy Saturday. There's a shitload to cover today. We've got tons to talk about. So I'll be sort of rushing, sort of not, but relax, sip of the coffee, enjoy the Saturday morning. Hopefully you have no responsibilities other than watching this and updating yourself on the crypto market. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? There's a lot going on. As you know, news gives the price a chance to do what it wanted to do in the first place, but faster. That is a very, very important bit of information. You've seen, if you've been around for a while, if you've traded markets for a while, you've seen all the different ways that news reacts to price. The current news at the minute is this. Let's watch it.
Okay, so we're going to remove that. That graphic was erroneous. These are missiles from Iran into Israel, where it is about 9:14 p.m. It just got dark, and that is the Israeli defense response, the so-called Iron Dome, shooting anti-missile rockets into the air to intercept and hopefully knock out the incoming Iranian missile.
Just a short time ago, the Israeli military had told the public to enter a protected space and remain there until further notice. So they were aware that this was coming. There was a TV broadcast also that was interrupted. The military said they were working on intercepting launches from Iran, and I believe what we're seeing here is them doing exactly that. We've heard air raid sirens sounding in Tel Aviv and in Jerusalem as this is underway. This is the second time we've seen this, of course, in recent months. There was that very similar barrage of missiles from Iran over Israel months ago that were also largely intercepted. And as you just heard Michael O'Hanlon describe, the success of this interception will go a long way towards figuring out what further response Iran might feel that it needs in order to show its strength and its response and the caliber of what it's ready to do contra Israel, which launched that surprise attack on Iranian assets last night.
I don't think this would be a surprise to Israel. I think Israel knew that Iran would be, as Michael O'Hanlon said, sort of forced to respond, if anything, Kelly, just to save face, because let's be honest, the Iranian people, they were humiliated. I mean, the Iranian leadership, not people, the Iranian leadership were by this attack. They lured the defense ministers and all the military into a fake meeting and took them out via missile. They hit people in their homes. They hit nuclear sites as well. No oil infrastructure, which is why the price of oil.
Did you hear that? They lured him into a fake meeting. Was that a negotiation meeting? And then they bombed him. Wow.
In their homes, they hit nuclear sites as well. No oil infrastructure, which is why the price of oil is up, but it's not up 13% like it was this morning. But Dom Chu, that is a live look right now at Tel Aviv, where hopefully the Iranian attack on Israel is indeed ending, over.
All right, so as we watch the video right now,
might be Hebron, not Tel Aviv.
I'm gonna help narrate what the market overlay is, if you will, over what we're seeing in terms of live shots out of Israel. We are moving towards session lows. Okay, we're not going to show the chart. We're going to keep this graphic up here right now, the video. The Dow is down about 720 points, which would represent probably near the lowest the point of the session so far. The other point that's interesting to make in all of this, vis-a-vis the conversation that we just had with Michael O'Hanlon, is just where you are not seeing some of the more market reactions. They're typically, in these scenarios, situations where you see a flight to safety for the U.S. dollar. The dollar index would go higher. One of the reasons why is people go to the safety of treasuries. You buy treasuries with U.S. dollars. What we are seeing right now, believe it or not, in the 10-year yield is still a tick higher than what it was before the actual airstrikes happened earlier in the day.
Commentators, right? Mohammed El-Arian and others are pointing out that's highly unusual.
Highly unusual. And I would also point out
Treasury yields should be falling 10 basis points or something on it. That's not.
And they did. And they bounced back up again. I would also point out just the gold trade. That's another one of those safe havens that typically moves decently to the upside. It is still up 1.5% gold prices, but you would expect them to be up markedly more so in this kind of a scenario.
Let's go. That is, folks, and we're all getting this real time. That is Tel Aviv, where you saw an incoming strike of Iranian missiles that looks like, hopefully, all or almost all of them were intercepted by Israeli defense, and that so-called Iron Dome. There's a lot of smoke, not exactly sure what is causing that, but we do know that the market is reacting to Dom's point. Oil closes, and I hate to even talk about the market in a time like this. This is, though, what...
All right, let's move on, but you get the gist, huh? You get the gist. On to the next thing. Let's have a little look. We'll just catch up on a bit of news together. So this is the plan. We'll catch up on a bit of immediate news together, set the scene, then we'll go through some charts and tweets as we do, one after the other. I'll give you my opinion, and our hit rate is, so let's have a look. Let's get through it. Let's chug along, but hang around. There's no better place to be. I'm telling you.
Take a look at global and domestic risk right now for the markets. Samir Samana joins us. He's head of global equities and real assets at Wells Fargo Investment Management. And Tom McClellan is here on set with me, editor of the McClellan Market Report. Welcome to both of you. Tom, you've obviously been through a number of these skirmishes over the years. So what would you tell investors?
The recent days in the stock market have seen very quiet action, what we would call coiling. And it's quietness that should make you nervous because when the market gets quiet, that's usually a sign of a top, and so this is the triggering event that finally breaks things loose. It triggers the avalanche to finally let go of all that pressure that's been building up. Yeah,
you make a very similar analogy to what Ed.
Exactly what we were just saying earlier. I haven't watched this, by the way. It's two fantastic things that he's already said there. Is one, gives it the opportunity that it's been looking for to crash. This is very common for obviously tops and bad news because there's a lot more bad news in this world than good news, unfortunately. Well, it's heavily weighted, and the bad news typically outweighs the good news, unfortunately. So that's one thing that's pretty interesting. And also, he's right, it does quiet down at tops, and it also quiets down at bottoms because people have usually left the market when it comes to a bottom. People if everyone's beaten up, they've given up. So depends on what time frame that we're talking as well. So let's keep going.
Yardeni said on air, I think on Monday, when he said, my biggest concern is there's nothing left to worry about. We had actually come all the way back from that April sell-off to say tariffs, that's kind of on the back burner.
Always
inflation, the economy, everything was kind of moving in the right direction. And now, obviously, we introduce a new element to the wall of worry.
And it's an unknown element because we don't know what this means because we haven't been through this all that often. And so if you get an earnings report, okay, we know how to interpret an earnings report, but we don't know how to interpret nuclear strikes against nuclear facilities because they've only happened about 3 or 4 other times. And so most people haven't lived through that. And this is just as we didn't know how to live through the tariff announcements on Liberation Day. Everybody freaked out because they didn't know what this was all about. They have a new thing that they don't know what it's all about. But this is all part of a larger cycle. We're supposed to have a down month in the month of June just for normal seasonality ahead of the July seasonal top. But there's longer cycles that say that this is supposed to be a bear market year. 26 is supposed to be a great bull market year, and I'm looking forward to a great bull market. Just not yet.
Maybe so sell in June, I guess, and wait till 26 or something like that. But because you have had such experience throughout these conflicts, but you also are always looking at kind of the technicals and the large. So that's the setup that you foresee as a market that will continue to weaken?
Yes, and the troubling thing is that we've seen strong breadth numbers. The New York Stock Exchange Advanced Decline Line is possibly the best indicator of liquidity, and it's made new all-time highs, which normally that's a really bullish thing. Gobs of liquidity is a wonderful thing. But we've seen this scenario before. We saw it in 2015 after the first bottom, and you even had a Zweig breadth thrust in 2015 that signaled, hey, everything's happening great, and it did happen great, but only after a retest. We also saw this in August of 2022. Strong breadth on a counter trend rally fooled a lot of people into saying that there's a new uptrend starting. And one did, but only after a retest of the low. And so I'm expecting the similar scenario to play out this year. There's going to be a great bull market coming. It's just not coming here yet. And there's some protection you need to do in the meantime.
Oil highest since January.
Bull market coming. Here we go. Oh, whoa. What else we got? We got fuck all. There's Fox Business. You can have a little look. Sometimes we go through this in the morning, have a look what's going on, but it's all just, there's bugger all interest at the moment. Middle East, everyone's just gives a fuck about the shit that, the Holy Land. The same old Holy Land, or not so Holy Land, if you will, the one that, they're not acting very holy over there. Let's just put it that way. Unfortunately. Okay, let's power through it. I've got some very, very good, interesting tweets here. But first off, start off with a relaxed one that you think that it doesn't really, yeah, but actually it opens a whole big kettle of fish in the back of your brain, in the old cortex, or whatever it is. If it's not going to zero, it's going to a million. Think about that for a second. If it's not going to zero, it's going to a million. So if it goes to zero, it fails. Obviously, if it goes to a million, how can it go to a million? Easily, because it's valued in dollars, and dollars inevitably will go to zero. So Bitcoin doesn't have to do anything, just like property, just like any value asset, gold, like everything of scarcity and value will inevitably just go to infinity. There is no price limit, because as long as it's valued in a fiat currency, because fiat currencies will continue to be printed and to go down. So you can look at it from two ways. We look at it as that a dollar is a dollar and Bitcoin price go up. But realistically, once you sort of understand it more, it's Bitcoin is actually a Bitcoin. Bitcoin's one Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. There is very little supply, new supply incoming. Bitcoin is closer to being is what it is, and the dollar is going down rapidly, the value of it, as more and more gets printed, daily, minutely, exponentially. It's sort of like you're sitting in the car at the lights, and the car, let's just say the car next to you starts reversing, and you think that you're moving. That's the analogy. So if Bitcoin fails, it goes to zero. If it doesn't fail, which it hasn't failed, it goes to infinity. Listen to this wanker. Bitcoin, little fucking foreskin longer than his willy. Bitcoin is unaffected by conflict. This is a safe haven asset. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is a safe haven asset though, but it's just still coming into maturity, right? Now we like looking at other people's TA. Marty Party, daily Bitcoin TA, bullish pennant with target indicated. So people can just find, this is the thing about patterns, is I could find a bearish pattern in that so easily, and also I could replicate this pattern, this bullish pennant over here. So you look, up, low, lows. You could make some sort of pennant there, and then look what it did. Boom, boom, and it faked out. Boom. So it could easily just go boom. It could easily just go boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? People just find patterns. They do have probabilities. Like pennants do have by far over 50%. But I'm just saying, it's just people will see what they want to see. Always remember that. And you will see what you want to see as well. Always remember that. Bitcoin, let's fucking look at it anyways. So our take of the Bitcoin price, it was something like this. When did we draw this? We drew this a little while ago, obviously. So it's a 12-hour chart. One candle equals 12 hours. So probably the last time we made a video, I drew this for you. So this. Yep, sort of. Yep, pullback. Yep, and then just basically trending up. Just trending up. But at the end of the day, you know what overtakes channels is ranges, especially when it's ranging, which is what it's doing right now. It's ranging, so it's going sideways. So you just sort of expect the sideways price action. Whoops, I'll keep that there for clout. Look, listen, Bitcoin ranges pretty much, well, not all, but most assets, especially Bitcoin, range for like 70 to 80% of the year, and they trend hard for that 30 to 20% of the year. If you look, like we've talked about this plenty of times, it's just like sideways, that's sideways. That's shitloads of sideways. That's shitloads of sideways. That's heavily down. That's heavily up. There's sideways. Okay, so it'll go sideways. A lot of the time, as you know, it creates liquidity pockets. So there's now up below all this price action and above all this price action. So the range starts to consolidate. And a lot of the time it'll tap into the liquidity. It's like fueling up at a servo, and then bang, or vice versa. Bang, bang. So You can stick into we've got the lines here on the G-Box, this range here, so you can see like within these lines, as the price continues to spend more and more of its time within the median of this range, it will, and then you'll see either just a straight up strong buy pressure, just higher lows can't be contained, or you'll see a crash if that wasn't it already. See how this just targeted the bottom of this, like this G-Box line was already there. We drew it off this. We draw it off these. So, you know, it comes down. If it wasn't there, it would have been right tight here. It might have been, but it comes down, grabs all the liquidity, fuels up, and then heads up. So, and that's the same here. Like see how it just dips down, hits all the stop losses, grabs all the liquidity, shoots up, gets ready to go again. This could go down to here. This could go down to here, or this could suffice. So that's just range trading 101. It just bounces, ping pong, bing bong, bing bong. So now it has had a strong, look at that wick, reversal wick, long wick, good candle body. Look at that, like a big hammer, big Thor's hammer. So yeah, there's a good chance of it reversing to the upside, but when you zoom in, those chances somewhat fade for the time being, because, as you know, this is just a, look, you guys, boom, 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 boom. That's called a bear flag. So it's exact opposite of a bull flag. So, you know, very common for it to just continue the trend, continue the trend, and then it goes like this, breaks out, retests, and then shit like that. And probably below this to get that. So look at things like that as it digests the news. But yeah, I mean, Bitcoin is a safe haven asset at the end of the day. Let's continue on. The dip you are freaking out over will be totally irrelevant in 5 years when Bitcoin is over 500k. Like, there's so many dips and crazy news related dips that I can barely even remember in the last 7 years. Like, off the top of my head, China bans Bitcoin in 2018. That was big. The Russia war, that was pretty big. 2021 was it, I think. COVID. You know, there's a few, but I can guarantee you right now, this little 8% dip or whatever, I'll forget it tomorrow. It's, unless it turns into something big, unless it, you know, obviously escalates. You know, there's times to buy the dip, there's times not to buy the dip. You know, look, if you're buying the dip on altcoins, truly just make it a little bit. And convince yourself that the downtrend's finished, and you're buying the bottom, and just pick a couple. Just pick a couple, you know, pick a couple. Don't go crazy. We've made that mistake plenty of times. Quick look at Ethereum. Was looking stronger. Hey, look at this. It is looking stronger. Look at this. So you can see we drew this here because it'd been ranging. Ethereum's price base is actually been incredible since May, 12th of May, over. That's nearly 5-6 weeks here where it's not dropping below this range, scooping up liquidity, but it's getting bought up. I was expecting something like this clearly, where it comes down and really fucking comes down to the knot here, soaks it up, but it hasn't yet. So Ethereum showing a lot of strength, impressively. Marty Party again with the TA, clear inverse head and shoulder, accumulation with targets indicated, so you can tell he's bullish. Let's have a little look at Solana ourselves, you know. Yeah, I don't know, man. Solana just looks like it's just downtrending. Solana just looks like it's downtrending. If you get a lot of sideways here, which, I mean, is coming into the weekend, so you probably will. Zooming in, 1 hour chart, 6 hour, I'm meant to be click on the 4 hour chart here. So, I mean, this is pretty good. Price action here, it's made the low, it's coming down, it's taken out the liquidity, obviously gained a lot, so 6th of June, so about a week long of liquidity, scooped up all that liquidity, and now its candles are closing above that low, so this could definitely range here a little bit and then start trending up, so this could be this would be a bit of a big dick Solana long area. I wouldn't short it until you sort of come up here and like close some of this distance here. have like a fake out rally. So you're either long in here, big dick style, or you're short in here, big dick style. It's just all big dick style. Oh, big dick style. ETH staking ETF just around the corner. Solana spot ETF expected to be approved in 3 to 5 weeks. Set up for massive altcoin season. Look, there's only one thing that's going to bring alt season back, and that's John McAfee. John McAfee's dead though, so we're fucked. Prices just need to go up. You remember how like the XRP started pumping and then it sort of baited people, including myself, into thinking that more altcoins are going to perform well? You need a narrative, you need the DeFi, you need the gaming, you need not San Andreas, GTA 6 is it, to come out with crypto in it. You need a narrative. Otherwise, these altcoins are just going to keep doing what they're doing, just being dragged by the tail up the hill by Bitcoin. There's still money to be made though, short and long. We did 400% on Farcoin the other day. It's a good long area for Sui. See here, there's a knot. Knots defined by price action stall on the way up or on the way down. So you grab it, you click here, you grab we grabbed a box, that red thing, we grab a box of liquidity. So the price comes down, tries to untie the knot, fails. Tries to untie the knot again, fails. Every time it tries, it weakens the knot, so it can break down. That's bad news if it breaks below this knot. But again, at the knot is pretty much the best attempt at a long if you're going to still believe in an uptrend. Pretty much this is it. This is about it. Coinbase is bringing out a credit card. It actually sounds pretty sick. We'll listen to this together. I've only seen snippets.
The big news of this event is really the fact that you seem to be expanding more into payment infrastructure and into consumer finance. So let's start with this credit card. Why now? What does it bring to the market?
You're right. Coinbase is coming into payments in a big way. And for years, we've been working on the building blocks here of having a stablecoin that's trusted and regulated with USDC, with a more scalable blockchain like Base. And these pieces are now finally ready, where we're ready to bring this to market. So as you said, we launched this credit card with Amex that gives you up to 4% cash back in the form of Bitcoin wherever you spend crypto. We announced this partnership with Shopify to bring USDC payments on Base to Shopify merchants. And we also launched a powerful set of payment APIs and a new product for startups and medium-sized businesses so that they can power more of their financial lives with crypto.
Yeah, I do want to dig a little deeper into this collaboration with Stripe, with Shopify, using Circle's USDC stablecoin. In general, how does all of this, we've been talking about it for years, the fact that at some point Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are going to become some form of payments, there's going to be utilitarian uses for them. Does this signal that we are entering that phase? And if so, what does this enable to actually see it realized?
Yeah, so I think this is clearly crypto's next daily use case. Crypto started off with Bitcoin. That is a very important piece of this new economy with digital gold. It's a check and balance against runaway deficit spending, and more people are buying Bitcoin when they see unchecked deficit spending. So money needs to be a store of value. I think Bitcoin is providing that. But money also needs to be a medium of exchange, and that's what stablecoins have now brought to market. I'll just give you one anecdote where, for years, Toby Lutke at Shopify and we would meet and we'd think about, okay, how can we get this ready for prime time? And some of those pieces fell into place with a trusted stablecoin, a scalable crypto network. But the last piece that we really had to build was actually a new smart contract that replicated some of the functionality of credit cards that people use in e-commerce. So people don't realize this often, but when you go pay for something in e-commerce, the merchant does what's called an authorization on your card, but they don't actually capture the funds until they reserve the inventory and they calculate taxes. They have to figure out shipping. And so credit cards have this kind of auth, capture, void, refund functionality. And with Shopify and Coinbase, we actually were able to replicate that in a smart contract on-chain. It's open source. And so people have been talking about the programmable money that crypto can bring for years, and it's now finally ready.
Crypto's taking over everything, man. You know it. I know it. Charge through. That coffee's going through me, so we got to get to the toilet. We will power through this. Look, here we go. The US House just voted 213-07 move forward with the president's first round of Doge and spending cuts. So, hey, at least something worked. Did something. Speaking of Doge, let's have a little look at the price action. Doge has been very, very sad since Elon failed to deliver, other than, you know, what we just talked about. Yeah, would look for a... I would hope to look for a higher low here. Something like that. That'd be textbook bottoming. So we can only hope that it's not assuming it's still in a bull market, right? Let's have a little look at XRP. Hello, old pal. XRP, huge range, one of the biggest price ranges, holding similar to Ethereum, but Ethereum was on a short term. This thing's on like half a year. Again, we talked so often about $1.70. This range has been here for a long time. We'll just drag it across here. It's the same shit. If you're an XRP lover, you know, you sell here, you buy here. It's like one of the biggest, probably potentially easiest range trades. There's still like 30%. There's like 50% in that, really, you know, buying and selling. But yeah, it's very slow going. As long as the XRP stays in here and above $1.70 US, fucking laughing, absolutely laughing. It's just waiting for the good times. It's like a look at Fartcoin just stopping Dicko out. Holy shit. Should have TP'd, my guy. Fartcoin's the strongest altcoin. Look, listen, everyone hates it, but just fucking, you just got to accept it. I don't like it either, but I like it because of the price action. Look at that. March till May, just up. It's fucking insane. Moving over here. Look, speaking of meme coins are driving massive social engagement right now. GigaChad leads, believe that, GigaChad leads over 9 million engagements. So just have a look at the ones people are talking about. GigaChad, Fartcoin, Dogecoin, Pepe, Trump. People are still caught up on these. Might screenshot this actually. People are still caught up on these. Alright, so surviving. Another one to quickly look at is USDT dominance. So how much of the crypto market is in stable coins or not? So you want this trending down. If you want altcoins to pump, it's trending up at the minute. So keep an eye on that. Bitcoin dominance as well. Yeah, you know that. Bitcoin dominance. You got to zoom out. Weekly chart, 1 candle equals 1 week. Pretty much the same old shit. Look, if you can read it. Hold on. Where are we? This chart going lower is altcoin season. It doesn't cause altcoin season. People say, oh, we need Bitcoin dominance to go down. No, we need the altcoins to go up, and then Bitcoin dominance will show it. But yeah, this going up is just, yeah, it's shit for altcoins, right? So it just means that altcoins are doing terribly. We'll just give it a bit of a blanket channel here, and yeah, when this starts breaking down, yeah, all in alt. Main, what if this cycle is exact same as all the prior ones? Everyone thinks the same. Everyone overthinks and says these times are different. Look at this, right? Look, this is true too. 2012 election, November 2013 market top. 2016 election, December 2017 market top. November 2020 election, November 21 market top. All right, so see you at the end of the year when we ride off in the sunset. Let's have a quick look at the Australian dollar against the American dollar. Bet you it's... I mean, as an Australian, you want this to, you know, head towards parity, like just trend down, so we can be closer to one to one. The Australian dollar is continually growing weaker and weaker. So that's very bad. We can get less Bitcoin for our buck. DXY trending down, doing its job still, very good. American stock market, quickly flick over. Yep, potentially toppy. Where's our range? Here you go. Yeah, so yeah, shift this across and look at that. There you go. So we'll see how we go. But I'm expecting this range, you know, once, as we said, it'll break up this channel, continue up back into the range as it does. It's doing that. And we want to see, we just want to see it break above, obviously, because it's good for all markets. But yeah, expecting this range to continue. It's very high risk now. It's double top, high risk. Gold, we looked at gold briefly before when the video was on. Zooming out, 1 day, gold. Yep. So I am expecting it to continue ranging for a while, but if these global tensions continue, then, you know, fuck, I'm not going to complain if gold keeps mooning. Let's put it that way. Hey, let's finish with a little bit of motivation for your weekend. You are capable of anything, but not of everything, because time in the end is the rarest currency, the scarcest commodity. I don't know about that, but time is of the essence. Listen, what are you spending your time on? Do you want to spend your time on something like crypto where it's, you know, a steep learning curve, and then when you make it, you can literally just make infinite money off your laptop anywhere in the world at any time of the day? Or you can just play some video games and shit and just dopamine max. Up to you, man. I know which one I'm picking. You know, I'm already here. So if you're here already in this 30-minute video, then you're probably picking that too. So just lock in. What else we got? A little bit of Target replaces Pride displays with stars and stripes. Left melts down. Oh, how'd that get in there? And if you didn't know, you know, Elon Musk is famous for his tanny tantrums, but he said he went too far. Cheers, Bulls. We'll stay in the chat. We'll talk. I'll do another video tomorrow. We'll dive in a bit more. Might even maybe a bit later today do another one for the members. Blockchain Bulls. Links in bio. Talk.